Oh, welcome to Meet Sonoma County, our new podcast.
I'm so excited. Let's talk a little quickly about our vision, like why we decided to do this.
Okay. Well, you came up with the idea.
Yeah, I am all over Instagram and social media, and I love following accounts like I think it's called Meet Cute New York, where they interview couples. And I thought it would just be so fun because Sonoma County is so fascinating. There's so many interesting people here, but I feel like their stories are not told enough.
Yeah, I think for me, as growing up here and then also working in like the hospitality, kind of tourism related, there's everything that's related content wise to Sonoma County is super focused on tourists, which is great. But yeah, not enough about like the actual like people who like do all of the things and make up the things in the little towns and the little odds and ends. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of explore more of that. Those elements of it, because it's part of our daily lives, and it's so we're the people who live here and we know all the people who live here. So I mean, I know all the people in my little bubble of Healdsburg. I certainly don't know it all around the county because it's so huge. And I think that's part of it too, is like exploring more about what's out there.
And there's spicy stuff going on. There's dramatic. I mean, it's little towns, but there's like some TV show stuff going on around here.
Right. Just go on any community Facebook page and you'll see all of the things that happen.
All the things. So that's what we really want to bring. We want to bring, the events.
Yeah.
The fun. And maybe a little bit of drama, a little salaciousness, a little intrigue.
Yeah.
And I'm Sheila.
And
who are you?
I'm Katie. And we have on like girl band outfits today, which was really funny. Totally unplanned.
We did not plan this. And just some background, I have a little background in podcasting, but I've never done a video podcast. This is my first time with a microphone. Hopefully, it works. So bear with us.
Yeah, I was just recently, it was so funny because Sheila brought this idea and I'm like, that sounds great. And then somebody asked me to be on their podcast, which was fun. I got to be on that. So it's called Rock and Vino. So I will never listen to it or these because I don't want to hear my voice. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll be to be determined. But so that was my first time really being on a podcast. But I'm an avid podcast listener. But I listen to like a lot of like I love like movie podcasts, like TV podcasts, like breakdowns. I listen to a lot of like the Ringer content. That's like my favorite. And I do some like political podcasts and news ones, but mostly like it's really like deep dives into movies and TV shows. That's my
all pop culture and comedians.
Okay.
That's what I listen to.
Yeah.
Okay, and so tell us just a little bit about you.
Oh, Katie. I grew up in Healdsburg. I went to college out of state at Gonzaga University in Spokane, Washington, and then moved back home because I thought I wanted to live in San Francisco. And then I worked in San Francisco very briefly and realized, oh, no, I don't want to live in San Francisco. I actually want to live in Healdsburg. So I came back and I've been back here ever since. And I have 2 children, which is always so weird to say. I have a 17-year-old, almost 18-year-old high school senior, and then I have a 4th grader, both boys. And let's see, I work in the wine business. I sew lots of vintage dresses very selfishly.
You'll get to know us and you'll get to know her, and that'll be so fun for you to follow, is what dress is Katie going to wear that she's going to make to the event.
Usually like the day of or the night before, and I'm usually late and it's not hemmed, definitely. And that might mean, that might not mean anything to anybody, but it is really pretty horrifying to not finish it. But I do that, and then I'm a pretty busy person.
That you're Miss Healdsburg. Because you're in everything, you know a lot of people, and that's why I'm so excited to do this podcast with you, because I'm not from this area. So I'm Sheila. I'm not from this area. I'm from San Jose, Silicon Valley. And you took me under your wing, and I lucked out. And I moved up here for a winemaker who we broke up, and I decided it's the happiest place on earth here. It's like paradise.
I love Healdsburg.
I just still can't get over the back roads and like no traffic and just mom and pop places everywhere and just the beauty of it all.
It's amazing. And I know, and growing up here, like I can say like I've seen it all. I've seen it when we had the JCPenney's in town, and originally we had like, we had a Taco Bell, we had a Taco Time. It was really a totally different place here at one time. And I definitely miss having a JCPenney in town for sure. There's a lot of people
in Healdsburg.
You didn't know there's JCPenney in Healdsburg?
No.
Yeah.
No, you're talking about the one in. No. So I have a stress from saying Coddingtown. It's Coddington.
No, it's Coddingtown.
Okay.
It's not an English abbey.
And now that you've done that with me, now I'm so afraid to say it.
She was saying, "Oh, go to Coddington." I'm like, No, it's not. That's not. It's Coddingtown. It's the Codding family town. So that's fine. Yeah. No. So there's a JCPenney in Coddingtown, but Healdsburg used to have a JCPenney, and was located right where the Raven, not the big theater, but the little one there. It was like in that area right there. It's kind of like a catalog pickup store, but you could still go and buy stuff. Like I had a cute like flannel shirt I bought like in the early 90s, and it was so fun to have a JCPenney right here in town. Yeah.
Well, then I'm gonna ask you a question. First of all, we are gonna do this podcast when it's just us two, but we're also gonna hopefully interview a lot of interesting people.
Yes.
But we're gonna mix it in with like hot topics and just random things that come to our mind, and then what the two of us are up to, because I run an Instagram called Sonoma County Faves that is all about this area. Yeah. But I want to ask you, Macy's is shutting down a lot of stores.
Yeah.
I think it's like over 100. Do you think Sonoma County needs two Macy's within like 2 miles of each other?
I don't think they need two Macy's. I really don't. I would miss having two Macy's, but I like never go to them anymore.
Oh, see, I do.
You do?
Love getting my shoes at Macy's.
Okay. Which Macy's is your Macy's?
The Coddingtown.
Yeah, I like the Coddingtown one better. Although, that location there used to be the Emporium Capwell. There's a big E on the side of the
remember Emporium. My parents bought furniture there all the time.
So where Macy's and Coddingtown is, it used to be Emporium, and Macy's was over where Target is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was back in the day. Coddingtown also used to be open air. Did you know that?
Now, why did they do that? Because from growing up in Silicon Valley, most of our malls are open air malls.
I'm sure, I don't even know when it changed. I would imagine it was an 80s thing. I don't ever remember it being an open air, but it was open air at Coddingtown at one point. My mom worked at her first job was at JCPenney. So she worked there when she was like in high school.
My mom, I think, worked at JCPenney's and was a gift wrapper.
Oh, funny. My mom worked in like the cash room where they like counted all the money out, and she made change and did all that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Spent a lot of time in Coddingtown. Okay, so now that we've explored the history of the JCPenney's in the area, which JCP, I love that store. I still do. Do you shop there?
They have the best dresses. So whenever you see me in a dress, yes, probably I got it from that JCPenney's. I just can't believe I gave my secret away. Like my Kentucky Derby dress was from there.
I love that place. Yeah. So now we talked about that though, but if you don't shop there, you should. Anyways, but we've talked about that. There's some like news going on about, tons of restaurants and things around here. So you wanted my opinion, and I'm not really in the loop. So bring us up to speed.
Also, bear with us. We're testing these microphones out, and we noticed that they were a little bit clickety clackety. So we're going to try them, hold them a little bit farther away, and hopefully the sound is okay.
I'm used to my karaoke holding the microphone close.
Right.
Twice.
Okay. So, which we should do an episode about is karaoke. Downtown Barbecue friends. So here's a scoop. A couple weeks ago, they delayed the opening, and it was quite interesting because people that were showing up that wanted to go there was a sign up in the window that said...
What town was Downtown Barbecue in?
Oh, it's in downtown Santa Rosa.
Okay, so it's like, is that like the downtown, like the right there, like 4th Street? Is it in that?
I think so.
There? Okay.
Help us out here. We are going to have an Instagram, and I just set up our Facebook.
Oh, sweet.
So we don't know everything. You also fill us in. The sign said, "Our chef walked out. We won't be open today." And so I have more information about this, but what's your first take? I mean, Katie has a lot of like PR marketing background.
Yeah. And I help run Coyote Sonoma in Healdsburg, which is a tap room and a restaurant kind of place. So I can understand why someone would want to do that, because it's like not totally out of our control. We don't have a chef. If we don't have a chef, we can't have food. But it's a little aggressive. and kind of unfriendly and like kind of angry sounding, which isn't maybe the best way to make a first impression with the crowd. So I personally probably wouldn't have chose to do it that way, but I certainly understand the inclination.
Yeah,
Be like,
you want to open and you're throwing your hands up. Like,
yeah, because God love them, but the chefs are a pain in the ass.
you worked with several.
I've worked with several.
And so
they're artists and they really think they're artists.
Yeah. So the head chef and pit master, Damien Brugger, told the Press Democrat Thursday, this was several weeks ago, that others and himself had decided to walk out over alleged toxic behavior and belittling comments from someone named Sheldon Lowell. So when we dug deeper into this, there's a lot of background on Sheldon. And we also want to say that we, on this podcast, don't want to throw anyone under the bus ever. Yeah. And we've already talked to several people that we want to have them on the podcast, always to tell their side of the story.
Yeah.
We're just the bystanders that are reading it like everybody else. But Sheldon Lowell, I'm pronouncing that right, he has alleged sexual harassment complaints by coworkers. And no criminal charges have been filed or lawsuits. So it's not like that's a part of it.
Yeah.
But this adds another layer to the story.
That does. Because, I don't know a ton. I remember like followed like the stories about him, but I'm like, oh, it's that Lowell guy. And he seems to be like a bit notorious. I know some people who have worked with him who don't actually have anything bad to say about him. Like, it's just like, I don't know. It's a whole interesting thing. So, but it doesn't sound like that was a sexual harassment kind of situation. So maybe if that was something that he had ever dabbled in, maybe he's walked away and now he's just a jerk. I don't know.
But he brought a lot of attention to it with his sign. And so then people looked into it and realized he's, I think, co-owner. And so now it built up into even more drama. I forgot to add something that he put on the sign. He also said, if anyone has recommendations for a good barbecue chefs, to email the business. That was also part of his sign.
Weird. I mean, I guess attention getting, it certainly got him probably additional press that, a restaurant could always use. And I'm not going to say that that was intentional, but if the situation presents itself and you need to like lemons into lemonade, maybe, perhaps. And did he get a new chef?
So he did. He got a pit master named Gain Jackson. And he did say something nice in an article. He said that he learned a lot about barbecue from the previous pit master. So he gave him a little bit of flowers.
Okay. Because that has to be, I would imagine, like a whole different ballgame. The timing around, like I smoke on my Traeger, my easy bake oven smoking as it's been accused of. And it's smoking. It's low and slow. It takes forever to do. And probably I can imagine like the prep behind figuring out how much you want to have ready to go on a day and how long it takes for quality and what you need to do. That does not necessarily lend itself like super easily to like a restaurant that like maybe relies on like fast pace and a new one. The butting heads that I can imagine might have happened around that. And probably if he had never done barbecue before, and had a barbecue restaurant, I would bet there's probably a learning curve. Obviously, there's restaurants around that do a great job of it, and they know the deal. So that's interesting. That's nice that he said that he learned something. Everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody makes mistakes. Here's the deal: people are talking about the $5 cocktails for the happy hour, and people are raving about the ribs. I looked at some of the photos. If this restaurant wants to invite us to come and hang out and check it out, send us an email. We got to figure that out if we have our email address. But
I'll get on that.
Yeah. So there's a huge menu and it's a huge space. Like it's massive.
All right. I'm going to look up the Sonoma County Foodies group.
Oh, yeah. So Katie, also there's a group. There's a Facebook group called Sonoma County Foodies. And we're both in it and we get lots of tips in there. So there was a post about it. So let's see what it said. She's going to find it.
My wife and I went to the new Downtown Barbecue for dinner tonight. We ordered the chicken, horrible. My brother-in-law ordered the brisket, dry. Mac and cheese, average at best. My sister-in-law ordered pulled pork sandwich. She took 2 bites. I don't think this place will make it. And it got 182 comments. And so people have a lot of opinions. I will say that in this particular group, that little gentleman is not necessarily entirely popular. I've noticed some things in there, so which is fair that people have their experiences and that's what they have to go off of. I know nothing. But anyway, so this is kind of like an ongoing like discussion about it. Anytime somebody says the food was horrible, and people love to jump in and be like, oh, you know where else the food sucks is this place over here. Man, restaurants are tough. Like anybody who can make a restaurant work, like God bless them. And people are really demanding, but also like as a consumer of food, you want it to taste good.
Well, and so please, and thank you very much for the amount of money we're spending in Sonoma County on food. I mean, I want it to be good if I'm dropping a ton of money.
And everything's expensive everywhere. And I will say that from the restaurant side, it's expensive for a reason. It's because they have to pay for all that food, and they have to pay for the labor of making it and the labor of serving it. And all the staff that goes into it. I'll say, like, being semi-involved in a restaurant and seeing how it works, it's taken all the fun out of restaurants for me, because I go in and I count and I'm like, man, how are they making it? I'm like calculating how much it must be costing for staff, how much the rent must be, and thinking, it's no wonder.
We'll go places and she'll be like, they're not going to make it. I'm not going to say what those places are.
Yeah.
But one actually did just close. And you were kind of like, they're not going to make it.
It's just like, no way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. And I don't know very much at all, but I mean, a lot of it is relatively common sense, but you certainly look at things from a different perspective when you're in that side of it. I'm definitely a lot more understanding of things. And at the same time, you also get a little bit more like your expectations on certain things. You're like, well, this is what they should be doing because this is like part of like the business. So, yeah, and well, now I want to go and check out their food. You said that you read some good reviews on it.
Yeah, I read good reviews. People love the ribs.
Yeah.
So,
interesting.
Okay, now let's transition. We're going to bebop all around here. We're going to go from hot topics to just like, what's going on with you? Like, what's happening in the area for you? What are you up to?
And we went to like a girls' night out party.
Mixer.
It's kind of a mixer. But
yeah.
It's a little business aspect to that.
Yeah.
And then had like a $500 bottle of wine. That was exciting.
Yeah, so I actually posted stories about it.
Oh, you did?
But then I took them all down.
Oh.
So I do that frequently, friends. You got to catch my stories while they're up, because I'll post them and then I'll start second guessing myself, and then I take all the stories down.
Oh, how fun. I did see that the other night. I was maybe a little drunky when I was looking at it.
Well, and when I looked back, I had done like a parentheses and then I hadn't deleted it. So there was like a parentheses up here and the text was down here. It was kind of a hot mess. Yeah. But that night I went to Bravas and I had a little Kindle reading time at the back bar there. They're still open even though it's cold this time of year.
Yeah.
And then we did that mixer.
Sheila loves a good outdoor space.
Yes, for a variety of reasons.
Yes.
Is it Verite? Verite. I had no idea this winery existed, and I did 100 wineries in 100 days. They're not new, right?
Mm-mm. They're not new.
Totally can't believe it. So we met their
concierge, Tegan, who used to be the concierge for the Hotel Healdsburg, and she was at the event. And so we got to chat with her a little bit about what she does there. And I had never tasted the wines because that is way out of my budget.
And I was excited because I just got new business cards made. So I was passing out my business cards like nobody's business, like for Sonoma County faves.
Yeah. Which is good because I just realized lately, a couple times when I refer people to your account that I'm like, oh, it's Sonoma County Faves. And they're like, I can't find it.
Oh yeah, because they're spelling it wrong.
They're spelling it wrong. They're spelling faves with an E.
Yeah.
AVES, which is, I get the natural inclination to do it, but it's Sonoma County Favs. Sometimes
Favs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should I have done an E?
No, I feel like the way you did it is correct. But like, this
was like post-divorce when I was rebranding and I was just having one of those days where I'm like, everything has to change. And it changed for the good.
Yeah. All of that changed for the good. But so I think it's great that you have those cards with the QR code and you can send people right there. It simplifies things. Because, I'm always like your biggest like PR person. If we're out anywhere and I'm like, oh, you should follow her on Instagram. She has 11,000 followers and she shares all kinds of great content about Sonoma County. Yeah. And you got to take a look at it. So, but yeah, then you bring in the card now to seal the deal.
Yes.
It's like our little shtick.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're schmoozing now for the podcast.
Yeah. Now it's for the podcast. Yeah.
And did you see, oh my gosh, this is totally off topic, but one of the people that we want to interview is Talia.
Yeah.
Who is the chamber
the chamber CEO.
And what happened today?
And what happened is that, she was a gymnast growing up, and she trained with Bella Carole, and he died.
He died today. I thought
it said he died Friday, but I just post about it today. So maybe it just hit the news today. I don't know. I didn't follow, but yeah, I thought that was because she's a person we want to interview because she has lots of connections and interesting story.
He had photos with him.
Yeah. So
that's going to be a fascinating interview.
Yeah, we're gonna try to grab her this week.
Okay, so we're gonna jump into another hot topic. Oprah came out with her 2024 hot favorite things list, and in Sonoma County,
she still does that.
Yeah, she still does. I think she's still in the magazine.
I have a funny story about Oprah magazine, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay. So what would you, like, if you were Oprah and in Sonoma County, what is something you would pick that would be on your favorite things? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
Oh, wow.
Do you want me to go first? Because I have one.
Yeah, you go first.
I would do Fleur Sauvage chocolates.
Okay.
In Windsor, because they're art pieces. They're like stunning. And it's such a cute little couple that does these chocolates, and they're like chocolat. They're so perfect. And so that would be on my favorite things.
There's so many things, but you know what I love so much is the Redbird Bakery bread. I love the Levian or whatever. That loaf of bread is my favorite, and their sliced sourdough.
Your son loves it.
And my son loves it, and I love their English muffins too. So I don't know, like if Oprah wanted to, like a Redbird basket of bread, that would be amazing. I would encourage that. That's one of my favorites. And then I love me some other bakeries too.
Oh yeah,
but that's the first one that pops into my mind. It's so good.
Well, Oprah chose McAvee Ranch, which is in Petaluma, which people question, I guess, because I guess it can maybe technically be Marin, but it's actually Petaluma. The whipped body butter.
No.
For $39. So I've actually been there, and I want to take you and our other friend because it's stunning. And it's a great place to go during the holiday season. And they are known for their olive oils. So this body butter is infused with their ranch on-site olive oil.
Place?
I looked up, so Amy from the San Francisco Giants, because I was pronouncing it McCovey. So I had to watch one of Amy's videos because she promotes them, and she says it's McAvee.
Oh, I would have always called that McAvoy.
Oh, maybe it's McAvoy.
Yeah, I would call that McAvoy.
Issues.
That's okay. No, I was like, I've never heard of this place, but that's how I would pronounce it. So we'll find out. Yeah. I don't know. I always like to pronounce things correctly too. So if I'm ever wrong, I definitely want somebody to tell me.
And then I don't have a great memory. So, but she's always promoting it. And so I went there with my mom, and we got their olive oils out of this world. You can get a variety pack of like lemon olive oil, lavender, spicy, chai. And then they have lotions. They have CBD for dogs and for humans.
Okay.
All kinds of stuff. They make make wine there. So
have you ever made a body butter?
No,
I have.
But I have picked olives with you and made our own olive oil.
Yeah. Always an adventure.
Always an adventure. We need to do that again.
We do need to. My dad would disagree. He'd be like, no, let's just buy olive oil. We don't need to. It's a lot of work to pick olives and get them into the thing. And in Healdsburg, you can take them to Trattoria, and they do a community milling. So you take all of your olives that you've harvested and you blend them with other people in the community, because you don't necessarily get a ton off of your own property. And then when you go back,
I just did our olive.
No, it's called a community mill. So they put it in a batch with everybody else, but they base it on what you've brought in. So if you bring in, 50 pounds, you get the equivalent of 50 pounds of like oil, but it's kind of all blended together. That's my understanding of it, at least. So it's kind of cool though, because it's neat to be able to use the products that you grow.
Your own absolutely.
I'm a big
treasured that.
I all of my tomatoes, we had so many, and I was driving my boyfriend crazy because I wasn't like
using
canning. So I actually did a ton of freezing of tomatoes this year. I have lots of frozen tomatoes.
A garden expert on here.
We should get a garden expert on here.
And like this spring.
Yeah, when to plant and what to do. Oh, that's a good idea. I love it. Okay. By the way, garden podcasts are kind of boring. God love them, but I have listened to some of them in the car, and it's a great time for me to take a nap because
we'll have to.
But it's not my passion.
It's
not my passion.
Yeah,
but if it's really specific to what we have here, and I think that makes sense totally. Yeah. But that's so cool that on Oprah's list, because that big deal. Okay, so quickly,
yes,
I worked in advertising agencies, a few different ones, and I was on a call with somebody about they're like pitching what publications or whatever, and they're like, oh, do you have you seen O magazine? And I'm like, yeah, I have an O magazine here. They're like, oh, which issue is it? And I was like, yeah, it's the one with Oprah on the cover. And they're like, all of them have Oprah on the cover. I'm like, oh,
Version of Oprah.
I was like, I did not know. I obviously didn't do a lot of reading of O magazine, but it just was so funny because they're like, yeah, they all have Oprah on the cover. I don't know. I'm always embarrassed about that.
Oh man, that's great. I love your little stories. They're gonna make the podcast.
I always am embarrassing myself.
I'm hoping, this is a side note, that we get invited different places to record this podcast.
Yeah.
Like when we interview people, we'll go to their place.
Yeah.
So you'll see us in different locations.
Yeah. And we'll always maybe have a matching outfit.
Maybe.
Maybe that's our thing.
Okay. Anything else that's going on? Anything you're thinking of? I mean, because we're in happy, exciting times right now.
This is like, well, I've been like busy since the beginning of October anyways.
It's been busy since you came out of the...
It's been nonstop. It's been particularly nonstop lately. But like, this is such a fun time of year and there's so many things. And I have so many sewing projects I want to do to coincide. I love to make something themed for an event. Anyways, I always have big ideas, and then usually it's like, hey,
You have big ideas, but you make them happen.
I make a lot of
At the
them
midnight hour.
at the midnight hour, and then I die, and I'm like, oh god, I'm so tired, and
Yeah.
then I sleep for 2 days, and then I'm back.
And she's back.
Oh, and I'm back, and on to the next thing. But no, it is exciting. So this is a busy week. I've got a salami party that you're going to. My
Excited.
boyfriend's stepmom won a 14-pound salami. We're having
Only
a
in
party,
Sonoma County.
right? She won a 14-pound Molinari salami, and so we're gonna have a party to divvy that up and celebrate. My dad's birthday is this week.
And I'm excited because your son's birthday is coming up and we're going to hibachi party it up
Yes,
again.
my son, it will be 10, and we experienced a few months ago this hibachi party. It's like Benihana in your backyard, and it was so fun. And Bodhi, who did not eat the food because he's really picky, but was like, this is so fun. And they, spray sake in your mouth. And I was like, I bet we could do it. Like we could do Gatorade and we could do this with
Yeah.
your friends. And
So
so
you told them that and they're down?
yeah, they were like, we do juice. So yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, so he's like, well, can we do it like minus the alcohol? It's like, yeah, clearly minus the alcohol. You're 10, and no. So
They come up here. They come up from like Morgan Hill, all
yeah,
the way up to Sonoma County.
and I requested like our chef that we had last time
Fun.
is like Evan or Ethan or something.
Yeah,
So I was like,
doll.
he was great. They were so fun. The whole crew was fun. And so yeah, so I'll have like a group of his friends and then a group of my friends, and we'll have the hibachi party. That's December 7th. December 6th is the Mary Healdsburg, where they do the tree lighting.
Hopefully it won't rain again.
Oh, I know, it was so awful last year with the rain, but the tree, it's so magical. It is
Magical.
It really
I
is.
would say, I mean, Windsor's is magical, but I would say Healdsburg is super magical.
It's like being in like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah,
It is.
it is.
We could use more of the
And we haven't.
the woodworking men around,
Yeah.
single men who sweep the city woman off of her feet.
I could
Preferably the city woman who grew up in the Silicon Valley and who got recently divorced. That would be amazing.
I would love that. And we have a tree lighting that we're going to soon, but we won't tell you about it yet.
Yeah,
We've never been.
never been.
It's local and we're excited.
That's exciting. And then let's see what else is coming up. I mean, it's Thanksgiving week next weekend
Yeah.
already.
And let's just preface this that we tell them why Healdsburg is we're going to talk about all Sonoma County, but who is our most blessed child?
Healdsburg.
Healdsburg.
It's the center of the universe. Also, no, I mean, I know it's not. I recognize that, but that's where, that's where I live. And in addition to growing up here and living here now, I work with a bunch of wineries that are here. And then I am on the board of directors for the Healdsburg Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
And I'm on the board for the Wine Road, which is also a lot of wineries in this area here too. So I know a lot about like the things that are going on here, and I like the community, and I know all the people. I know a lot
We'll
about.
branch out and we will, because I do it for my Instagram.
Yeah, and I need to leave
And
the
you've
bubble.
been really good about that this year,
Yeah.
I will say.
I'm trying.
Really good.
I'm trying.
We got her to Rancho Nicasio.
Yeah.
We've got you to Did we go to Petaluma? We went to Pengrove this year.
Pengrove,
Sebastopol.
Pengrove Pub. Yeah, that was fun. You know what I did last weekend? There's a really cool event in Santa Rosa that I had never heard of, but it was in their 20th year. It's called Winter Blast. I actually learned it from the lady ladies that I did the podcast with, they told me about it. I'm like, what do you mean there's this winter themed event? I don't have time to make a dress for this tonight. It's today. And then like everyone was busy. And I'm like, I'm just going to go. And so I went to Santa Rosa, where I go mostly to go to Costco.
Right.
But I went down and I parked at the mall and I wore my furry coat and I went to Winter Blast and I had a glass of wine and I walked around.
Fish
And I saw all the cool, sofa. They do a sofa parade and it's like the coolest thing. And I can't wait for us to go to it next year. I talked to one of our other friends, Chrissy, and we're like, let's enter a float.
That would be fun.
So I don't know what the parameters are, like who is eligible like to enter. So we'll look into that. But that was so cool. So there's so many fun things. So yeah, we got Thanksgiving coming up.
But side note, that's why we also want to do this podcast
To learn more.
because there's so much happening in this area and we can barely keep up with it.
Yeah, and if you live here, it's so fun to know about all of it. Even if you don't live here, if you're coming to visit, it's fun to know about all of these things. But if you live here, like you want to know, take advantage of like the amazing place where we live. Like you pay all this money to live here. Let's go do all the cool shit.
We might need to start a Facebook group so that we can all share ideas.
Oh, that's a great idea. Thanksgiving next week
Yeah.
already.
Crazy.
I was like, oh, it's so far at the end of the month because it is. It's like one of the latest I think it could possibly be. And I felt like I had so much time, and then now all of a sudden we're at next week, and I have lots of house cleaning to do. Like 2 outfits I want to make. We're doing the turkey trot in Healdsburg. Healdsburg running company is like a cult in town.
We're gonna have him on the podcast.
We'd like to invite Skip. We'd like to invite Skip to the podcast at some point.
A character.
But they do an amazing fundraiser. The turkey trot is so much fun. There's so many people who come to it. I never thought I would be like one of those people, but it's really fun to start out your Thanksgiving day with that.
Oh yeah. It refreshes you. We're gonna try to go do the course because we just want to make sure we can do it.
Yeah, I gotta train a little bit. Yeah, and then the day after that, well, not the day after, the Saturday after Thanksgiving is the Geyserville Lighted Tractor Parade. If you've never been to it, it's so fun.
I should take that day off. I work on Saturdays, Saturday night, so it makes it a little tricky for me.
You really should because it's fun. Because I don't think you've been since we've done the Lamson.
No, I have.
Have you been? Oh, it's been a long time.
The thing is that I can't come late because everything's
the town gets shut down. You got to get there early. Go check out the businesses in town.
Actually, they're going to be very mad at me that I'm talking about this, but this podcast isn't going to get a ton of reach right away. They keep it very on the down low.
Oh yeah, it's kind of, they like to like the secret. There's lots of secret places actually, so that's like that. The Geyserville Lighted Tractor Parade they like to kind of keep it a little bit of secret.
Yeah,
there's a place where we really like to go for drinks that people really like to also keep a secret, and it's here in Healdsburg, and it's one of like people don't not like to talk about that where we love to go watch a sunset and get the cheapest drinks in town.
Yes, so I posted it on my Instagram and people asked me and I didn't tell them.
Yeah. So maybe we'll tell you.
Maybe we'll record an episode there at sunset.
Yeah, it'd be really good. Yeah. So it's a secret location. And again, we might get kicked out of being able to go there if we broadcast it too far away. But I don't know. We'll figure out a way to make it known.
So I have another hot topic. Okay. Let me pull it up here. It has to do with Sebastopol. So Sebastopol just got voted named one of the top Zen cities in America.
Okay.
Out of 150 cities in America, Sebastopol ranked number 13.
What else on the list? Like Sedona?
Number 1. How did you know that? I didn't share my notes.
Just the weird things that you know. I can't think of any other cities on there.
2, Ojai.
Oh, that makes sense.
3,
okay.
Santa Fe.
Okay.
4, Laguna Beach, and then 5 was Hawaii, and so forth. But then Sebastopol got ranked 13th and has a 4.82 Google reviews. And this was done by the mental health organization Mission Connection. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I don't know. Sebastopol stresses me out. Like driving around the town, it is so complicated, and it doesn't make sense. Like the layout of the town always is like wigs me out.
Yeah, I've had some moments where I almost went on a one-way and was going the wrong direction.
Yeah, it's cute though. And I know that they're passionate about, peace. They're very like a hippie kind of like place. We still use that word? We use the word hippie, okay. Right? It's fine, yeah. We have a really good friend who she just moved from Sebastopol.
She would say it's the most peaceful place. Would she?
Maybe. I don't know. We'd have to ask her. So she'd probably think that's a bunch of bullshit. I don't know. Just that they're calling it Zen, like whatever. Because she grew up there, so she's kind of like, okay, whatever, Sebastopol and your branding. So I don't know.
So I love the Barlow outdoor market situation. I find it very peaceful. I walk around. But the apple fair, the Gravenstein Apple Fair that they do is great, but it's not Zen.
It's certainly not Zen.
It's very busy and bustling.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there another place in Sonoma County that you would put above Sebastopol?
Like Occidental maybe seems a little more Zen to me.
Yes.
That's like a little more like you could go out and meditate in the redwoods somewhere.
Like
because people apparently meditate. I am not one of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
That's a good call.
That seems a good PR. Good PR move. Somebody got themselves, they pitched that. They worked hard to get on that list.
Mm-hmm.
So good on them. Good for them.
I mean, I have to say the back road driving, especially this time of year in Sebastopol, is my favorite. I think it's just absolutely stunning. And then is Wood Fir Bakery? I think that's in Sebastopol.
Is that the brewery that just closed?
Oh, Wildflower Bakery.
Wildflower. That's in Freestone, technically.
And that's not any.
It's just past Sebastopol, kind of on your way out. So if you're headed out to like Bodega Bay, like you could go one way and go to Bodega Bay, and you can go another and go into Occidental. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not like the best out there.
Yeah.
But on the corner there, I think it's technically called Freestone, and that's where that also has some really amazing bread.
Go right now and get there. I think it's like pumpkin cranberry, like sourdough bread or some sort of pumpkin cranberry bread with walnuts. I had it last year. It is out of this world.
Okay.
But go early because they'll run out of it and there's always a line and it's bananas.
Their bread's really pretty too because it's like all the seeds and it's all like,
Yeah, so we're mixed reviews on Sebastopol being most zen.
But you know what's coming up and again I learned about from those ladies of the podcast. They reminded me of it. You know how Brewster's in Petaluma has their amazing miracle bar with all the Santa stuff. So that comes up fast and like it gets booked up fast if you want like good nights to go, like reservations. But there's also this.
Let's just get everyone together and wear ugly sweaters and do it this year.
That'd be fun. At least the other thing is that at the Flamingo in Santa Rosa,
love the Flamingo.
They have the Sippin' Santa, which is like the kind of like the Miracle Bar at Brewster's, but it's more of like a tiki bent to it. And so they have that. They do like tiki Christmas cocktails, and I clearly will need to make a Christmas tiki dress. But I even looked at. I was like, I picked a date. Like I thought, well, maybe we could make this day work. I feel like that might be a thing where reservations also fill up fast. So we should really like pick a day where we can go to that. Because it looks like it would be really fun. Because we've only really explored it like a little bit. I've been to the bar there at the Flamingo a couple times.
Seen food there.
Yeah. And we had like the curry and stuff there that night, right? That was really good. Haven't gone to the vintage space for their shows that they do there.
Nope.
But they book a lot of the same bands that I book.
A lot of people are going there for country line dancing, I think.
Yes. Healdsburg has a thing that is kicking off today, and they're calling it Season to Sparkle. And it's like because this is a whole season where there's lots of lights and sparkly things, and we feel like the area really shines, and it's just a fun time of year and lots of sparkling wine. But it's beyond just the wine; it's more than that. So they had a kickoff event at Barn Diva tonight.
So stay tuned. I mean, are we hoping to do this every week? An episode a week?
Yeah.
So stay tuned. We're going to bring you the best events.
Yes.
The best gossip. The best information.
Yeah.
History.
Yep. I think
all of it.
So this is like people, if you live in Sonoma County, like hopefully you find this interesting and like tell us what you want us to talk about or do some research on or who you want us to interview. I've been kind of posting on my personal Facebook page, like who are the most interesting people in Sonoma County? And it doesn't have to be somebody who's famous. It's just somebody who has a story. Like you use the reference of like the humans of New York. It used to be a big thing on Facebook.
Yeah. Yay. Let's cheers
We did it. Cheers, Mike's. I wonder what kind of noise that will make.
Thanks for tuning in and joining us.
Thank you.
See you soon. Oh, follow us on Instagram, Meet Sonoma County, and on Facebook.
And you should also follow Sheila on Sonoma County Fabs, if you don't already.
Bye.